All right. We have an Age of Fantasy report today. It's good to be back into Age of Fantasy. I've been playing Kings of War, prepping for my Mage Knight campaign, and doing some Grimdark, even a little 40k. So it's good to get back into Age of Fantasy. So this is Dwarves against some Wood Elves. So the classic, I guess, invasion of the forest to chop them down by the Dwarfs versus some Wood Elves. So this is just a standard basic scenario, 4 objectives, and both of us are also experimenting on my list, on our lists. So just keep that in mind. So for me, trying something different where I'm bringing in an attack helicopter, so a gyrocopter. So two dwarf champions. I've got one in a steam power suit. It has grudge, so he's running with the steam power suits. That's a whole lot of people hitting on 2-ups. So that is just kind of a big nasty unit. He's got shield wall as well with the unit. So that's kind of the big nasty unit that I have. I've got a second dwarf champion. I got him on shield bearers. So I get a couple of extra attacks from them, and I get he's got dual hand weapons. So the first dwarf champion has got that great weapon, just that high AP. The second one is kind of meant as like an anti-chaff person. He's got wizard 1 as well. I've got a 10-man warrior squad. They're mainly just chaff, but they also are pretty tough as well. You know, Def 5 shield wall. Some good kind of frontliners. 2 sets of bearded veterans. These are kind of quasi chaff. They hit pretty hard, but they also they are kind of my can openers as well. Just but can also kind of serve as some secondary chaff. We've got some Iron Warriors. Right, so I've got 2 units of them. This is the real kind of the defensive, that first line defense of my army, the one that's going to kind of tank the hits. So I have those 2 Iron Warriors. They're really good at just tanking that first hit. And then I've got either my Bearded Warriors or, as what's coming up next, my Hammerers, right? So this army is all about basically just a hammerer delivery system, right? So every one of these units are really built to protect those hammerers, get those hammerers in hand, and have those hammerers just blow things up. The other big hammer I have in the army is the steam-powered suit. So this is just my big squad, and they are so good. All right, they're tough 3. They've got def 3. They've got shield wall. They're rocking 3 attacks with great weapons. Just with the dwarf champion that I'm running with, they're going to hit on 2. So this is just a really nasty squad. 5-man Drake squad just for some fire support. We got a torpedo rifle on them. Their Drake squads are so good. And then the other thing I'm trying is a helicopter. So I wanted to put the helicopter in because I want to have some flying in there. And so I need some mobility in my army, and so I'm trying out the helicopter. He's got like a little... He's really... I don't know. He is fast, but he's just got that mini cannon. So it's not great. So, yeah. All right, my opponent, so he's running kind of a monster mash of Wood Elves. Not many Wood Elves, two Treeman Elders. He's got them with Skides. So just some deadly. He's running some deadly in the army, so I'm going to have to watch out with my suits. He's got a Revenant Elder with just his default claws. He's a wizard. So he's got some rending in this army. Rending is not good against me. I'd much rather prefer the Def 1. I have a lot of shield wall in the army. And so, other than those 2, it's really nice to see a lot of AP1s and AP2s in this army. So he's got his 10 Treemen. These are kind of quasi-chaff, but they've got their AP1. He's got a 5-man unit of Revenants. He has them with Rending. So that's a bit of a squad that I'm going to have to watch out for because Rending can really screw my army. And then he's got a 10-man squad with the AP1. So AP1 I'm perfectly fine with. The Revenant Bug Rider, so this is his pretty nasty unit. So this is the impact 4, each one of them. So that's an automatic 12 impact hits. They've got regeneration. Also, the Revenants and the Bug Riders have Malice, so that's a -1 to hit on the charge. So that could give me some trouble as well. He does have a couple of standard bearers in there as well, which do come into play. He's got some Treeman Hunters. He's got 3 of these squads. So this is definitely the meat and bone of his army. He's armed them all separately differently. So he's got a Treeman Hunters with the default great weapons, so just 3 attacks AP2. He's then got some Treeman Hunter with Scythes, so this is AP2 deadly. So the scythes are that's a unit I'm going to have to watch out for. And then he's got a 3-man Treeman Hunter squad with great bows. So again, 9 shots coming out of them. And then, so that's kind of the meat of his army. And then the last 2 is his 2 tree giants. One's got a wizard, one has a whip hook. So he's upgraded one with the wizard upgrade. He's upgraded the other one with the kind of the attack, right? The shooting attack, the whip hook. So, yeah, like I said, it is Wood Elf, but it's really more of a Treeman monster mash going on. But yeah, so let's get into the setup. So just my setup, I've got my 2 Iron Warriors right in front. This is how I'm probably my initial plan. Then I've got my 2 Treemen, my 2 Hammerer squads in the back. I've got my Fire Drakes. I haven't painted this, so this is something I'm working on, and I'm working on magnetizing the shield. But this is the 6-man steam-powered suits, and then I've got my Gyrocopter towards here. And I've got my leader. So this is the leader with the grudge. So he's in the steam-powered suit. So the Mantic, I'm using the Mantic lore Forge Fathers, and they really come out very well. And then I've got the old school shield bearer guy. So he's rocking his great weapon. Actually he's dual hand weapon. He's the great weapon. 10-man unit of warriors. And then I've got, these are my 2 Longbeards that are just rocking those great weapons. So, Longbeards are really good in this game. I like them with the AP3, just a really solid hammer unit. All right, so for him, great looking army. This is a really nice looking army that he's painted. So this is his first treeman with the whip. Here is his tree hunters with the bows. These are his treemen. This is one of his revenant elders with the scythe. I love these models. It's just this. I tell you, like, Age of Sigmar's got just some incredibly good models. So here's his treeman with the wizard. This is his revenant elder, who's a spellcaster. These are the treeman hunters, which is the standard great weapons, and then these are the treeman hunters with the scythes. This is the 5-man unit of revenants that he's running with the claws, so they're the renders. And then he's got another unit here that's the AP1, and he's running one of his revenant elders into the squad here. Going to the right, this is the scary squad for me. It's the cavalry, the flying cav. These guys are just, I mean, this unit I'm expecting to just delete a unit, and so I'm just hoping to have enough models to be able to hit him on the backswing. But they are absolutely going to basically kill any of the models they charge on. So yeah, but a great looking army. So let's look at the battlefield. So. There's me as a dwarf. I want to put these. I want to put these objectives as close as possible. So we didn't know what side we're picking. So I put he put one in the middle. I put one here. He put one off to the far right, and then I put the other one here. So we have this nice little triangle here where there's just a lot of objectives, and then on the far right, so here there's just one objective over here, and I actually got to pick sides, so I went to this side here. So this objective actually ended up being on my side here. That's just looking at the long way, so I take this side. I won the roll off, so I choose the side that has 2 objectives on my end, and then we've got this center objective here, and then the other objective of his is over here behind this house. All right, so this is just our setup here. So again, I want to hold this objective, but I also set up pretty heavy towards contesting these 2 over here. So we went back and forth. Like I said, we were changing. We were going back and forth and deploying models. I ended up putting my gyrocopter here just to kind of grab this objective and also do some shooting. These treemen are they're only like def 5, so this 10-man unit's pretty easy to kill. So I do have some shooting between the drakes and the gyrocopter to probably thin this out. I did go ahead, and I didn't know where he was going to go, and so I just set up my big 6-man unit with my leader of steam power suits here. They can go support this side. They can also come and wrap around and hit the center as well. So they're just kind of the anchor for the rest of the army. Going forward here, yeah, you can see here. We both set up pretty hard on this flank. He's actually committing to the right flank pretty heavy, so he's got his treemen, and these bug riders, they're probably going to try to see what they can do about hitting this objective. But I have the support. You know, I've got a 10-man unit of Iron Warriors here. I've got a unit of Longbeards, and then I've got some Hammerers. So I definitely have the units that can probably fight this out here. Even these Treemen, they're tough 12, def 3. You know, I have the AP and the hitting power in my army to just really take even those Treemen out. So he does have some scary AP 3 stuff. I mean, def 3 stuff, but I've just got the hitting power to take care of it. So not particularly worried about it. We'll see how it goes. All right, so this is just a long ways here. So you can see here, both of us set pretty heavy. This center objective is going to be really what we're going to be contesting. And then this objective here, we've got kind of a lighter force here. I'm going to try and hold that as well. All right, turn 1. So I get to go first. The first thing I do is I just move up the gyrocopter, and I just shoot into his Treeman, do 2 wounds, so thin out that unit a little bit. He moves his Treeman up. He's in charge range to charge the gyrocopter next turn. I move my steam-powered suits up. So this one guy, I do grab the objective here. And my steam-powered suits are they're right in the center. They could go center or they could go left. Just here, they've grabbed this objective. So now I'm just going to kind of wait and see what I do here. He moves up his Revenants and he grabs this objective. It's a good decision to use the slower squad to grab the objective so his faster moving squads can move up more aggressively. I move up my warrior squad here, and I do get to grab the center objective here. So these warriors are basically just going to be some good chaff just to protect me against some of this. He is just faster than me, and he has army-wide strider. So I am going to be tanking the first hits. Luckily, I do have some good defense, and I do have a lot of shield wall. That a lot of, especially those Iron Warriors, I feel pretty comfortable just tanking some of these hits. So I'm okay with that. But so this warrior squad does move up, grab the center objective. This is his bowman. His bowman go ahead and just shoot at my warriors. We say it's cover, but he does shoot at my warriors, takes out a few of them, but they're fine. So yeah, I think they're down to 6. So no, I think it's down to 7. He didn't hit so great, and I rolled some pretty good saves. Again, that AP, these warriors have shield wall, so it's just a few hits, and then I do get my saves. After he shoots them, I move up my Iron Warriors again, just to continue to support this squad. Just getting them, I push them up pretty forward. Again, I know I'm going to tank a first hit, so I want these Iron Warriors to just be there to tank that hit. At this point, I missed something, but he actually has these guys. He moves them up. Remember, Strider, he can just run up here. And so I actually missed this shot, but I'm showing you. These hunters move up around here to start going after that far left objective. I then push up my hammers. I try to get off a spell that gives them extra charge, but I don't get the spell off. So I was trying. The dwarves do have a spell that basically negates their slow, but I don't get it. He moves up his Treeman, and he has that 12-inch shooting attack, and he whips these guys. I actually rolled pretty bad wounds, and he kills 3 of these Iron Warriors. I then move up my Iron Drakes, and again, I told you this Tree Hunter squad moved up. I then just shot him. I had a torpedo that just killed one outright, and then I shot him. I killed the other one, so I did like 5 more wounds on him. It was 8 total wounds. So basically, this is one guy down to 1 wound, and he does fail his morale check, so he actually is wavered. So pretty good rolls for him. Pretty bad, good rolls for me. Pretty bad rolls for him with that waver check. He just moves up his 10-man squad here. He's going to, again, he's got one of his Revenant Elders in here, so he's just going to prepare just to start fighting me. I move up my Longbeards just through the forest. I know he's got his tree coming in. That tree is in charge range of these Iron Warriors, so I just bring my Longbeards. I do stay out of charge range of the Treemen. I basically want to use these guys as kind of a counter swing. He moves up his mage and he casts. There's a 6-up spell that can target a model that does like 3 AP 4 hits. So he rolls a 5. So basically, he cuts the number of wounds of my leader down in half. So this guy only has 3 wounds left. So that's a pretty nasty little spell he gets off from his mage. I move up my other Longbeard unit. So again, I'm using these guys as some chaff. So I've got my hammers right next to them. Again, these guys are just going to tank that first hit, and then I've just got a lot of counter swing here. So the second unit of Great Weapon Longbeards move up. He moves up his scythe guys. So this is his other Revenant Elder, and then he's got them with the scythes. Oh, those models look so great. GW does such great models. I move up my Longbeard. I move up my Iron Warriors. So you see, one thing I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to build almost like a bowl. I'm going to have my hammers just come in here. I know he's got his treemen. He's got those bug riders coming up. I don't want these hammers to get alpha strike. So I'm going to leave a nice little spot for them to go in. And I have these Iron Warriors here just kind of protecting them all around. The coherency is good. Remember, it's 6 inches. So I do have 6-inch coherency from here to here. Yeah, he moves up his bug riders. I move up my hammers. Again, I'm just kind of tucking them in. And then he moves up his treeman. He casts a -1 to hit spell. The hammers weren't in range, but he was able to get the -1 to hit spell off of my Iron Warriors. So they were at -1 to hit. That's actually a pretty good combo considering he does have a lot of stuff with malice. So that's like an additional -1. So if those guys fight things with malice, they're going to be at -2 to hit. So that spell is actually pretty good for his army. Turn 2. So he finished. I finished first, so I get to go. The first thing I do is these guys are now kind of clogging up my front line, so I actually just want to bring them up. They're going to lose combat, I know, but I'm hoping to just kind of... What I want to do is I want to fatigue this unit. So I charge them up, I do a few wounds, and then he swings back on me, kills like 5 of them. So, again, these guys, I knew I was going to lose combat. They do pass their morale check, so they do stick. But yeah, I'm really trying to just get these guys out of the way to get my punchy guys to charge him. In response, he brings his treeman up. He charges my Iron Warriors. Now, again, that treeman looks pretty scary, except for the fact that he just has a lot of AP1 attacks that my Iron Warriors just don't care about. So he does some wounds, but I think he only kills 2 of them. Yeah, he only kills 2 of them. So that just shows you that those Iron Warriors are very tough. Like, especially on a lot of these, like a lot of monsters just are running multiple attacks with AP1. And that's like perfect for my Iron Warriors. So they take 2 attacks. I think they do like 1 back into him and he's fine. Oh yeah, so this is just me, my consolidate where I move into range. And then we stick, so he backs off. In response, again, this warrior, he's still kind of hurt. So I start to see that this side looks to be crumbling a lot faster. So I actually just, I take my gyrocopter and I move over here. I shoot him. I get 1 blast off hit and the dude rolls 3 5-ups and there's no wounds. So a bit unexpected. I was expecting these treemen I was expecting to maybe kill another 2 of them and eventually just, whittle them down to their half. But yeah, he rolled some great saves here. So he basically countercharges. So he both of us are hitting on 6s, but he also has a lot more attacks than me. So he goes into them. He doesn't roll great, and I don't roll great. Like, it is still 6s, and so these guys actually don't do any wounds across the board. At this point, I bring my Longbeards and I send them straight into this treeman. This treeman with Def 3, Tough 12. My Longbeards are AP 3 hitting on 3s, and I've got a sergeant in there as well. So they're gonna hit this treeman. They are not worried about this treeman. They do 6 wounds to him. The treeman goes back into him. I don't even think he even hits him because he's on sixes. And so I get him on 7 wounds. He rolls a 2, and his break test, he loses a treeman. That's a rough roll for him to just, that 1 or 2 that he rolled. Now, that treeman was on like 7 wounds already, but that's tough just to lose that treeman right then and there. So at that point, I just consolidate back into the woods. He, in kind of spite of that, charges my Longbeards. He does some wounds on them. I think they do 1 wound back, but they do stick. So yeah, he kills about 3 or 4 of them. Remember, these guys, they have scythes, so they're very good at killing deadly but because he doesn't have a lot of attacks and a lot of his power is in the deadly, he basically murders some Longbeards, but a lot of that deadly wounds are just wasted. I do 1 wound back into him, but they do roll their break test and they stick. So he just backs off. Yeah, so at this point, he is within 8 inches of range of me, and this is not going to be good for him. I send in my 6-man squad of these guys are 3 attacks apiece. Now, I have these last 2 guys here in the back. They aren't able to attack. But, I mean, these guys are hitting on 2s. This is 12 attacks, plus my leader is another 3. I mean, these are all AP2. The leader is AP3. I mean, they're just murder this squad. So yeah, they absolutely just demolished that squad. There's just 1 guy left. He fails his break test. He runs, and then they consolidate 3 forward. So yeah, again, he's got a tough army. The thing is just like I have the hitting power to just, even tree giants. I'm not particularly worried about them. So they just move up. Now this is my big heavy hitting squad here. Yeah, he moves up his treeman. He wants to try and get in charge range next turn. I bring up my fire drakes, my iron drakes, and they shoot them down to 2 men left. Then they use I have one of the torpedo goes into them and finishes off this guy. So, and then these guys actually pass their morale, so they're actually still good to go. Yeah, his bowmen shoot into these guys. They do some pretty good wounds, and they kill. They do 5 wounds, so they kill 1, and they take 1 down to 1 wound left. So yeah, these guys are. I like these bowmen. I think he definitely should have brought a second squad of these. They're really nice. Yeah, I bring in my Longbeards. I send them into the squad. Remember, they're already fatigued. So, but I roll pretty crappy, actually. Remember, he's got his malice on. So, I only kill like 3 of them. He goes and he kills 2 of my Longbeards. He has a standard, so we stick. So that malice is really just kind of paying dividends for him. Yeah, that's just me backing off afterwards. He brings up his mage, and he what does he cast? I forgot. Cast a spell. I think he does some. I think it's a damage spell. That he kills some of my Longbeards, and he kills. That's what it is. He did a damage spell in which he killed. He hit both of these guys with like 5 hits apiece or so. So he took them down to 1. They do pass their morale. So I have 1 warrior left. And then he kills like 2 or 3 of my Longbeards, but they don't need to pass their morale. So yeah, this mage is doing work. I actually have a little crevice here that I can get that isn't in cover, so that is in difficult terrain. So I send my... here's the deal. These guys are going to suck in hand-to-hand until I remove this -1. And I don't want to move anything else in range. So I just go ahead and send him here. I'm trying to actually finish off this squad. But then again, I'm also hitting at -2. So I don't roll great. And I don't even think I even kill one of these guys. Yeah, just the -2s to hit. He doesn't hit me either, so we just kind of stick. But the important thing is this -1 is gone. At this point, he sends in his bug riders. I knew that these guys were exposed, but I also knew that I had some hammers right here to support them. Yeah, he sends his bug riders in. They murder this unit of hammers, and they just back off. But again, I can charge him. So that's what I do. My leader charges. I get my first spell off in the game, in which I hit these guys. I hit one. Which one do I hit here? Oh, that's what it is. I actually fail a hit. Yeah, I failed to cast my. I failed to cast my spell again, and so I was trying to think, but yeah, this guy, they just basically failed their spell. And they kill these bug riders, and then they consolidate forward. So, the bug riders also have malice, but this is a 10-man unit of hammers that's just, and the leader, I put so many wounds on them, even with the regeneration, even with the malice. These guys just kill those bug riders. And yeah, I do attempt to get a damage spell off on them, but he fails again. So 2 out of 3. So far, he's failed 2 of his saves on 3-ups. So this wizard isn't going so great for me. He sends his streammen, so these guys are fatigued. He comes in with his streammen, but again, my Iron Warriors, they're pretty good. He does get some decent wounds on me. Kills a few of them, but not a lot. Like I said, he only takes out maybe 2 or 3. I think I may get one. I think I roll pretty good. I get 2 wounds back into him, but I still beat him. He's also got fear, so I do lose combat, and they actually get wavered. So those Iron Warriors get wavered. These guys, this is my last move. I go ahead and I charge his mage. Now these guys are fatigued, but I'm hoping to maybe put some wounds on his mage. I don't roll great. He rolls good, kills 1 or 2 of them, and then they fail their break test as well, so they're gone. So, yeah, that's fun. And then these guys, these Revenants come in. These are the Rending guys. They come in, they hit my... So these are the guys that I don't want. These are the guys that have the Rending hits. So he comes in, hits my Iron Warriors. He does. I don't think he even rolls any rending. He kills a few of them, and they're also fatigued, so they fail again. He kills a few of them, but I don't kill any of his. And then on their second morale check, they fail and they're wavered. But again, they're at 6, so they're above 50%, so they're only wavered. All right, turn 3. So as we've said here, when we're going into turn 3, he's in a pretty rough spot. Like, I have the far left objective. I have the one close to me. So I have 2. That center objective is also just heavily contested by me. So he's in kind of a tough spot. He has some debate, and he realizes he's really just going to try and take me either to clear this objective, to make it contested, and to stop my Iron Drakes from basically... Because my Iron Drakes aren't going to be able to reach that objective in time. So he goes into my my gyrocopter, but he doesn't do any wounds on him, and the gyrocopter is fine, and they just back off. So this is a contested objective here. At this point, I send my hammers into his tree giant. They do a lot of wounds. I think they actually do 8 wounds on him. Puts him up to 10 wounds. He kills a few of them. He kills 4 of my hammers. But like I said, this guy is only on 2 wounds left, so he's just about dead. And at that point, I think he just kind of says, I'm probably not going to win this game. Again, all these units here are all pretty wounded. His treeman is just on his last leg. I'm really here. You're also forgetting that I still have my 6-man unit of steam suits that are just going to come up here. So I've probably got this one, and I've got this objective. So I think at this point, he just calls the game. So this is just kind of an overview. I think, he didn't quite call it yet. He waited to see if I was going to. So the only thing he waited for is we went ahead and just saw if I could kill off these Iron Drakes. So the Iron Drakes shot his treemen and killed them, and at that point we called the game. Yeah, so it's a 2-1 victory for the Dwarfs. We just stopped it there. I had that far left objective now that those treemen were dead, and the Dwarf army did me really well. I really like both of our armies. I like his army a lot. I think that he could have. I think he should have deployed his scything tree hunters last and tried to line them up against my steam powered suits, because I basically just clogged them up with non-tough units. All right, so some learning points. So I do like how OPR is kind of balanced big monsters, because again, the moment you get them down to half strength, they have to take morale checks. And like his tree giant, right? I got him to half strength, and then he just failed. Another thing I think are cool is that units with deadly are good, but like I was saying, you can't let them get. You have to be very careful when you're just running a unit that has deadly weapons, because they can easily get clogged up with non-deadly units. The counterpunch strategy is very solid. I know Dwarves, this is pretty much a big strategy for them, is to just kind of play counterpunch. And a lot of armies can do it. Speed is very important in Age of Fantasy, but it's also important to realize that just having that counterpunch is also, fine as well. Another thing I've noticed is that terrain isn't that big for a dwarf. So, difficult terrain makes you only max move of 6. Dwarves are only moving 8 instead. So honestly, terrain for dwarves isn't a big deal anyway. The gyrocopter was okay. I didn't like it. I thought for 150 points, I could just get a lot more value somewhere else. I'm thinking about actually running Rangers. The gyrocopter was okay. It did not have any sort of damage output. So I didn't particularly care for it, but we'll see. All right, thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles 2. Always interested in feedback. Hey, like, subscribe, comment. And if you're in Austin, you can always join the Austin Alternative Gaming Creeks. It's a great group to play against. So thanks a lot.